Hey, True Believers, England Teen here with another episode of Comic Book Origins, where we take a look at the first comic book appearance of any character, be they villain, hero, team, you know what, even objects sometimes, or places. In this case, we're looking at the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I was a big fan as a kid. I saw Charlie 27 in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe and thought he looked fun. So when I saw him on his first appearance here, he looked like the Michelin Man, and I was like, okay, I got to see what these guys are about. Now, what I didn't know then, and I came to learn, is that in all honesty, this is not the Stan Lee creation, and with Arnold Drake helping to write and everything. Well, kind of it is. The characters are, but the idea comes from Roy Thomas, who pitched it to Stan Lee, and his idea was kind of like Red Dawn. It really sounds kind of cool. His idea was that the communist Chinese and Russia took over America. So you have these superpowered guerrilla fighters, and they were trying to liberate the country. And boom, you turn that into all sorts of planets and the galaxy of the Guardians. Let me try that again. The Guardians of the Galaxy are born. Man, I messed that up. But in the end, it really just didn't seem like Marvel knew what to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy. There was 5 years between their successful first appearance and the time that they appeared in Marvel 2-in-1. Thankfully, though, they also appeared in Korvac Saga, awesome story, and in the 90s got their own comic book, and then ended up getting replaced by a raccoon in a tree. So, what you gonna do? Anyway, with all that aside, gang, let's kick back, relax, and jump into Marvel Superheroes number 18, the very first. As always, we take a look at the cover first, and this is going to be indicative of what you're going to read inside. I have read this before. This is boring. This is a really bad cover. Look at the way they're walking. Look at the legs. Look at the positioning. This was lazy. Whoever did this, it just seems like they didn't want to do it. And now look at the backgrounds. I mean, sometimes a blank, just one color kind of thing can work. Unfortunately, I got to say, this doesn't work at all. The Guardians of the Galaxy, it's the year 3007. A single flag flies over ULE, the United Lands of Earth, and over the dozens of planets in the ULE Federation. Wars among nations long ago ceased, but the War of the Star System has only begun. Now, this is Charlie 27, fifth generation of his family, born on planet Jupiter. After space immigrating from Earth, like all pioneers, Charlie 27's human body was adapted at birth to withstand Jupiter's conditions, 11 times the mass and 3 times the gravity of Earth, which is why he looks like the Michelin Man. After 6 months of solitary space militia duty, Charlie 27 is rocketed joyously home and into a universal nightmare from which no human may ever return alive and free. And we see the title of the story, Earth Shall Overcome. And we see Charlie 27 land his spacecraft. Now he's expecting some sort of reaction, some sort of homecoming. But just like a man coming home from work, nobody shows up except for maybe the family dog. Or instead here, yeah, just nobody. Except for a couple of soldiers from the Badoon who is seeing Charlie 27 and saying, "There will be a medal for us, Miz. We are about to capture the last free Jovian." Charlie 27 is still looking for people. "Hello out there! Halt! In the name of the glorious Eastern Zone Council. The Badoon. They've reached Jupiter already. They must have cut my radio contact." And Charlie 27 reacts quickly, shooting one and then throwing one into a garbage incinerator. So Charlie 27 wants to alert others and tell them that he's seen the Badoon in the area. When he gets to civilization, he realizes there's nobody around. But as Charlie 27 approaches his home, he says his father is on a ship and being taken. "Must follow that truck. They're not going to kill my father in that camp." He swiftly follows in a stolen rocket car, and shortly, those prisoners, they're mining high-intensity Harkovite. Without protection, they'll all die of radioactivity in 5 days. Can't wait. Have to break my father out of there now. So Charlie's 27 decides he's going to fight instead of die when he sees the Badoon behind him. And instead he goes, "Wait a second, I could join the ULE and live to fight another day and get better chance to save my father." And I got to point out the art in that third panel. It is freaking horrible. Anyway, he reaches this teleport system, which some other person from Jupiter had to have seen and used. And he jumps through it to escape just in time. Not having any coordinates He ends up on Pluto and finds out that it is just as deserted as his planet of Jupiter. So he decides to, grab himself a couple of travel snacks for his next destination. And around about that time, we see some of the Badoon have gotten their scent. These animals have picked up another NB scent. That's not possible, Yer. We know there was only one Pluvian left after the evacuation. I tell you, they have found another non-Badoon scent. There are two. The animals are pulling towards the Tela depot. There he goes on the roof, and they see Charlie 27 jumping to the top. Release the animals quickly. Saturnian Houndhawk. Deadly. Too late to fight, Charlie 27 says, and it looks like they drew his head twice. Look at the way Charlie 27. It's just weird, guys. I mean, there are two ears here. Is there no editor at the time? Get in here, Jupiter man, unless you want to be a #1 meal. Charlie 27's wondering, why isn't there any lights in here when he realizes the person next to him? By Carsus, you're a crystal man. A Pluvian. You mean a rockhead, don't you? Isn't it what you call our people despite the fact that we, like you, are descended from Earthmen? This is no time to fight a race war. Tell me what's happening here. Pluto was totally evacuated 2 months ago. Having been left behind to blow up some industrial complexes, I was about to make my escape. When I pulled the troops over to teleport and blew your scheme, well, don't worry. I'm going out there and surrendering then. Unnecessary heroics, militia man. This radio transmitter will take care of the troops. I've wired many robot servants in a nearby store. This transmitter will activate them, sending them smashing through the streets. Swiftly, the strange allies return to the teleport. Hurry, Jupiter man. The robot servants aren't made for fighting Badoon elite guards. They're doing good enough for me, Charlie 27 says as they run for the teleport station. So they jump towards the Teletran, and this is where we actually get an introduction to both characters, or at least their names. What's your name? Charlie 27, and what is yours, Crystal Man? Martin X. Pleased to meet you, Charlie 27. Same here, Martin X. Next stop, Mother Planet Earth, and let's hope that it's still free. At about the same moment on planet Earth, the prisoner will bow down before the great Drang, supreme commander of the eastern sector of Badoon Empire. So this is the esteemed Major Vance Astro. First Earthman to the stars, the saga of your great adventure has reached unto the world. And did you laugh, Drang? Did everybody laugh at the tooth? Fuck a donkey. Okay, I hate it when I look. Did everybody have a good laugh at the 1,000-year-old man? You'll chuckle out of the other side of your face if your royal murderers will take their hands off of me. And we see that Vance Astro and Yondu are being held captive. But the Badoon kind of mock him, and they insist on hearing his story from his own lips. And when you do hear his story, it is kind of mock-worthy. Sad, and of course, you do kind of want to giggle. I really actually got to give him credit for coming up with this kind of origin story for someone. We find out that man had gone to the moon and decided, okay, we're going to shoot for the stars. We're actually going to go to the next planets. But, of course, according to Einstein's theories, light travel is impossible. So they decide to basically cryogenically freeze Vance Astro and then wake him up. He'll wake up in 1,000 years on whatever planet and so forth and so on. And so that was the plan. But when Vance Astro awoke, he steps out and people are singing for he's a jolly good fellow. I guess they remember that 1,000 years later. 3 cheers for Major Astro, Earthman, but it can't be. How could you beat me here? Harkovian physics, old man. It replaced Einstein's 800 years ago. It was discovered 200 years after you left, but there was no way of interrupting your journey. However, you've been a hero to every child for 10 centuries, Major. It was all for nothing. My home, my girl, my friends, all thrown away for nothing. And then we cut back to the Badoon still mocking him. You must admit, it is a funny story, Major. Bitter, yet funny. Not to me, Drang. It will never be funny to me. Now get to the point. Why were we brought here? The Badoon tell Vance Astro that he's there basically because they want to pay him handsomely for betraying his people, which Vance Astro takes offense to that, saying that, my people? You've got to be kidding. My people died nearly 1,000 years ago. I'm a shipwreck in time, Drang, and I take lip from nobody. And Drang says, "You do have one people, Major. This Yondu, he is yours?" And being the sensitive soul that Vance Astro is, he says, "Yeah, native of the planet I landed on, dumbest people that ever lived. I kept him just for laughs." Drang says, "Then you shouldn't mind killing him." It was okay. It'd be interesting to do it with his own weapon. Give me the bow arrow you took from him. And, of course, that's the arrow we all know that Yondu can control with a whistle, and he uses it to attack the Badoon. The arrow blows a hole in the wall, and Vance leads Yondu out, telling him, "Don't stop whistling." Yondu does stop whistling long enough to ask him, "Why you say them ugly things about me, Copper Man? How else could I get my hands on your bow and Yaka arrow? Now hang tight, my sight pusher can't sustain us both for long." That's what I hope for, a teleport. But remember, it's illegal for anyone but the Badoon to use a jump tube, so the first Badoon you see, start swinging. At the same time, we see Charlie 27 and Martin X pop onto Earth, saying, "Well, here we are, back on merry old," but no, the Badoon is saying, "Halt! It is forbidden for a non-Badoon to space jump." Martin X replies, "Yes, we're back on Earth, Charlie 27, but it's not merry. Hit the Badoons!" Overpowering the surprised guards, the two rebels steal their ray guns to make their escape, but we see Vance Astro and Yondu arrive thinking that they are actually Badoon guards. Hold it, it's a mistake, but that doesn't stop Yondu from sending his arrow after Charlie 27. "I can't shake this thing, Martin X, help! My crystalline body structure lets me convert light waves into internal extremes. With my left hand I can freeze the very air, so that I might save your derriere." Okay, so I'm going to basically skip over the fact that Charlie 27 picks up Vance Astro and throws him, because I want to focus on the bottom word balloon in this bit of dialogue. Charlie 27 throws Vance Astro, and he literally says, "Trying to dash me against the wall? All I've got to do is reverse my psychic energy from the soles of my shoes." Psychic energy from the sole of his shoes. That's brilliant. That's just psychic energy in your feet, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing. This is absolutely the best line of dialogue I have ever read. Please quote something you think is worse than that down in the comments below. Soon, Vance Astro realizes that Charlie 27 is a Badoon, and he says, "Hey, that's what I've been trying to tell you, man. We're the last free men of Jupiter and Pluto. We're looking for a fight, but with a Badoon." And that's when more Badoon guards show up, and Vance Astro punches one. Martin X burns the gun out of another one's hand. Charlie 27 tells everybody to get into the teleport tube. He's going to hold off the Badoon, and he does so very well. And we hear, "Where to, Major? New Paris? New Moscow? New Nome?" "No, this is no holiday tour, Martin X. We're going to find that free colony or die trying." In a flash, all four are teleported through space to New York. Took the worst pasting of all from the Badoon, but they say that the free colony started here. I don't believe it, Major. Is no free colony. Everybody is dead or a slave. "My old friends, I'm the old man here by about 10 centuries, and I say we could find the free colony. Listen, there was a struggle song they sang in my time. It's still good. If you alter it a bit, try it with me. Earth shall overcome," and they start singing this over and over. "Thus were they united, thus do they live, and thus perhaps shall they die. But while life endures, they will challenge the baneful Badoon, and one day legends shall spring up in worlds yet unborn about those who shall be called the Guardians of the Galaxy." Dun dun dun! I added that. So there you go, gang. That's the very first appearance of the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Gail doesn't really respond to things I'm doing right here. She'll sit, she'll do her puzzle book or whatever. And this time she's going, "Wow, that is one cheesy sounding book." And she's right. It really was. Not only that, but the art misses on so many occasions. I don't know. To me, it seems like they decided they had a great idea, but they didn't put all of their heart and soul into it. I just don't buy it. It doesn't work for me as far as that kind of thing is concerned. I would love to see the Guardians of the Galaxy make a comeback. I really would. I like the characters. I want to see them again. It probably would never happen because of the movies, but one can hope. As far as the book itself, It's cheesy. There are some fun spots, but overall, there's nothing special about the first appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. And why not turn on one of the videos that are popping up around you right now, clicking like, share, subscribe, and ringing that notification bell, making sure that everything is on. Now, this is the way we're trying to make a living. So if you don't mind helping out the channel, going over to Patreon, Ko-Fi, or even to members only over on I Love Comics and putting $1 in the till. Help us keep the lights on. Helps keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.